That particular summer was exceptionally beautiful. The corn was golden, the hay was a glorious yellow, and it smelt delicious. In fact, our lovely Denmark was looking at its best. I was taking my usual little stroll, slowly and gently, and singing my favorite song. Gaw-wop, gaw-wop, it's a beautiful day. Gaw-wop, gaw-wop, I'm happy and gay. The sun is high, a bright shining ball. The sun in Denmark is nicest of all. I was on my way to see my dear friend Mrs. Duck. I knew she was a little bored, sitting on her eggs all day with nobody to pass the time of day with.
Good morning, Mr. Stork. How nice to see you. What a beautiful sunny day it is. You don't know how lucky you are being able to stroll around just as you like. I'm afraid my little ones are a long time in coming. I can't move from here.
You must be patient, dear lady. Think how proud and happy you'll be when you go sailing across the pond with your family of ducklings behind you.
Yes, of course, you're right. All the same, I am just a little worried. One of my eggs is most peculiar. I've never seen one like it before. Just look at it.
My word, it is peculiar. It's bigger than the others, and it's all black and grey. Unfortunately, I know very little about eggs, Mrs. Duck, so I can't say anything much to reassure you. But don't worry, I'm sure everything will be all right in the end.
Well, I hope you're right. Thank you so much for coming to see me. Do you think you can come again tomorrow?
Of course I can, dear Mrs. Duck. I promise you I'll come. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
The following morning, I found Mrs. Duck looking after her new babies. How pretty they looked. The tears came into my eyes at the sight of these little creatures with their downy yellow feathers. And how funny they sounded. Their tiny little voices piped such a merry tune that I began to sing my own favorite song with them. I'm afraid I must have frightened them a little, for they all hurried along to nestle into their mother and didn't make a sound while I was talking to her. My heartiest congratulations, Mrs. Duck. What beautiful ducklings they all are. You are the most wonderful mother in the whole country.
Oh, Kawap, you're too kind. But do you remember the big egg I showed you yesterday? Well, it hasn't opened yet. Well, it really is rather worrying.
Dear me, I can understand how worried you are. Still, I'm sure everything will be all right in the end. I was so upset to see Mrs. Duck's anxiety over her last egg that I went to see another mother duck to see if she had any advice to give. When I told her all about Mrs. Duck's peculiar egg, she said,
Oh, I'm sure it must be a turkey's egg. Exactly the same thing happened to me once, and I've never had such an anxious time. That little creature spoilt my whole summer. It quarrelled with all its brothers and sisters the whole time, and it simply refused to go onto the pond and learn how to swim. Oh dear, never again. I think that your friend ought to get rid of that egg straight away.
But Mrs. Duck refused to listen to such an idea.
Oh, no, certainly not. I can't do that. I've never got rid of an egg before in my life, and I'm not going to start now. I'm going to hatch that egg, Kuwab, even if I have to spend the whole summer sitting on it. Yes, even if I have to spend the whole summer sitting on it.
Now then, please don't get angry, Mrs. Duck. I should have realized that you wouldn't dream of leaving an egg, whatever it might be. Still, for your sake, I hope it isn't a turkey. Just at that moment, the big egg started to make faint crackling noises. And straight away, Mrs. Duck started to break it open with her bill. How cleverly she did it. Suddenly, out came the little fellow who'd been so long in making up his mind to appear. I'm afraid he was terribly ugly. The ugliest creature I've ever set eyes on. It was a great shock for poor Mrs. Duck.
Oh dear. I'll never dare to look any of the other mother ducks in the face again. To think that such a thing could happen to me. Oh, what have I done to deserve this? I don't suppose he can even swim.
Dear Mrs. Duck, you have all my sympathy. I really don't know what to say to comfort you. However, I think you ought to take him on the pond. Perhaps he may want to swim after all, even if he is a turkey. The following day, I came across Mrs. Duck taking her children out for a walk.
Come on now, children. You must learn to walk properly. Do just as I do. Put your feet well out on either side of your body. Oh, no. If you turn your feet in, as most of you are doing now, you'll never learn how to waddle gracefully. Now then, try hard. Ah, that's better. Keep it up now.
Look at that one. What an ugly duckling. We don't want him around. I'm going to chase him away. Run away, you horrible thing. Run away.
Very wicked of you to talk to this poor little duckling like that simply because he's ugly. Anyway, he's a good swimmer. Very good indeed. And his mother loves him just like the others. That's right, isn't it, Mrs. Duck?
Oh, yes. I love my ugly duckling. Don't you hurt him or else...
We'll chase him away. We'll chase him away.
A few days after that unfortunate incident, I had to go away on a long business trip, right down to Egypt. And it was only the following spring that I arrived back in Denmark. All my old friends had gone away, and I was beginning to find life very lonely indeed when...
Nobody wants me. Everybody has left me.
Come now, you mustn't be sad. And above all, you mustn't cry like that. Dry up your tears and tell me all about it.
Oh, if you only knew how unhappy I am. Ever since I was born last summer, I've never been able to stay anywhere. People have chased me away. My poor mother, Mrs. Duck, was ashamed of me because I was ugly. But she loved me in spite of that.
Why aren't you with her now, then?
I ran away for her sake. Everybody was making fun of her because she went on loving me in spite of my ugliness.
Still, you shouldn't be crying now. I'm sure everything will be all right in the end. I've traveled a lot, you know, and I've had a lot of experience about life.
When I left my family, sir, I went a long way, right down to the other end of the stream. And there I found some other ducks. They said to me,
We are wild ducks,
You can stay with us if you like.
but you must promise to be good.
That was kind of them. You should have stayed with them, you know.
I wish I could have stayed with them. But 2 days later, something awful happened. While I was waiting for 2 of my new friends to fly down onto the water beside me, there was a terrible noise, and they fell into the rushes. There were men all round, firing guns. Oh, it was terrible. I'll never forget it.
Ah, that was the opening of the shooting season. I can understand what a terrible experience it was for you.
Then a great big dog came. Oh, how frightened I was when I saw his cruel mouth and his fierce red eyes. He soon went away, but it was a long time before I dared breathe again.
What happened after that?
After that, oh, I simply ran away, feeling unhappier than ever. After a while, I came to an old house. The door was half open, so I stepped inside. I crept into a corner as quietly as possible, and soon I was fast asleep. But the next day,
Who has come into here without my permission? Just look at that clucky.
What can it be, Scratcher? It isn't a turkey. I've seen turkeys before, but this doesn't look like one. What can it be? What can it be? What's all this noise about? What are you up to, Scratcher? What are you doing, Clucky? Oh, my word, a duck. That's a bit of luck. I'll be able to have some eggs. Listen to me, you two. You must be good and leave this little duck alone. Can you lay eggs?
I'm sorry, but I don't think I can.
Do you know how to purr?
The only noise I can make is this.
What an awful noise. Oh, please be quiet.
You're no good at anything.
Oh dear, I'd like to go for a swim on the big pond. It's so lovely to dip one's head in the water and swim around in it.
Oh, he must be mad. Now he says he likes to dip his head into water. Mad, completely mad.
You simply don't understand me. The best thing for me to do is to go for a journey around the world.
So, what did you do when you left the old woman, the big tomcat, and the hen?
I went down to the west end of the lake and made a little home for myself in a hole under a hedge. And I was lonelier than ever. One day, I remember seeing some lovely white birds flying across the sky. When I saw them, a funny feeling came over me. Poor little me, hated by everybody, no good at anything, I seemed to feel I loved them. When they'd gone out of sight, I felt it was the saddest moment in my life.
Poor ugly duckling.
The winter was very hard. The pond froze, and one morning I woke up to find myself in a farmyard. The animals told me that the farmer had found me beside the lake, half frozen, and that he'd brought me back there.
Were you happy with these people?
It was worse than ever. The children ran after me, the farm girl kicked me, and the hens made fun of me. And I cried and cried as I ate all by myself. So I've had to go away again. And today I really don't know what to do. I know the spring has come now, but what's going to become of me all by myself?
It's a sad story. But I'm sure everything will be all right in the end. Have you ever thought of trying to use your wings?
No.
Look, do this. Down. Up. Down.
Up, down. Up, down.
Oh, yes, you must learn how to fly. Up, down. Up, down. Up, down. And that was how I gave the ugly duckling his first flying lesson. Soon after that, I was called away on another long business trip. And it was only when I went for a walk beside the duck pond that I learned how everything had turned out for my young friend.
Just imagine whom I saw this morning. I saw the ugly duckling, but he's grown very big and his feathers are as white as snow. He's changed completely from what he was like when we chased him away. And do you know who he was talking to? He was talking to 3 swans.
What's your name?
I'm called the Ugly Duckling.
The ugly duckling? But you're not a duckling, you're a swan. You're like us. Haven't you any relatives?
My mother was Mrs. Duck. She loved me very dearly, but I've lost her, and I'm all alone now.
But you must come with us. You're our brother. Come. Come.
And do you know the 3 swans flew off into the air, and our ugly duckling went up with them, flying just like one of the big swans.
Well, I never. I can hardly believe it. He was a swan all the time. Think of it, me bringing up a swan.
I always thought there was something special about him, Mrs. Duck. He was very brave all on his own. And it did strike me that his wings were just a little big for a duck's. I often see my friend, Mrs. Duck. She's as busy as ever with her new children. But I sometimes catch her glancing towards the east, where the swans come back from. I'm sure that she's more than a little proud of her ugly duckling.